Intro about myself. I'm Pranav. I'm working as a solution architect in TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, based out at Pune. I majorly deals in two areas, Power Platform. When it comes to Power Platform, it is like Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and other components, and Dynamics 365 CE, of course. So, and some of my area of expertise lies with FNO as well, but I won't call myself as an expert on that. My passion includes exploring new technologies, learning new technologies. I love cars, love driving. Well, in current pandemic situation, that is what hurts the most. I'm not able to enjoy my prized possessions. But yes, that is something that I'm looking forward to once this pandemic is over or we find a cure. I'm fascinated by science in general, be it cosmology, science of very big, or the quantum mechanics, which is science of very small. So that's about me. You can connect me via my blogs, LinkedIn profile, or you can ping me via community profile as well. So I have two different profiles, one for Power Platform and one for Dynamics 365. I have developed and uploaded a Google Map control for Power Apps as well. So if you get chance, do check that out as well. Okay, let's get cracking then. So as you can see, the few of our topics are functional in nature. So quick intro to Power Platform. I'll start with that. Just a recap. Then we'll talk about Power Portal itself. Then we'll explore what we can do with portals. Okay. And then I have some technical bits. So architecture will be covered in a brief, and then some portal building blocks. We call them portal components. We'll then talk about licensing. Then if we get time, I'll have a quick demo as well. I have not prepared anything specific for this session, but yeah, I would like to show you how a citizen developer can quickly create a website and then start editing it, adding pages to it and all that. That will be followed by a Q&A session. And please feel free to stop me in between if you have any questions or queries. You can unmute your microphone as well if you want, or if you can, just post your question on chat window as well. Okay, so we have lots to cover. Let's get rolling. So just to give a basic idea of what exactly Power Platform is. So Power Platform is a cloud-based low-code platform to develop business applications, right? And it has got four main pillars. I'll start from right to left. So first is Power BI, which is a very powerful visualization tool which can act as an enterprise level reporting and analytical platform as well. It can connect to various data sources, be it on-premise, be it on cloud as well. Virtual agents. This is the new kid on the block. It can be leveraged to build interactive and intelligent chatbots. Again, it's a low-code way of developing chatbots, and they can act as a first line of defense for your organization. Power Automate is a workflow engine which allows to automate business processes. It can also be used for integrations as well. So for example, if you are having the scenario wherein something triggers in one application and you want to pass some data to another application, that kind of implementation can be fulfilled by Power Automate. Last but not the least, Power Apps, and we'll be talking about Power Apps and portals in detail going forward. But just to give you a single line description, it is a low-code way of developing business applications. Power App comes in three different flavors, and I'll talk about it, those flavors in my next slides as well. Let's talk about some common components. Data connector is something which is common to all these four pillars that I talked about. If you want to define data collector in a very simple way, they are like connection strings that can connect to various data sources. I mean, it is obviously more than a connection string, but yes, just to give a layman's definition, it can be considered as connection strings. They are used by Power Apps, Power BI, virtual agents, and Power Automate, all the components that are mentioned. They also come in two different flavors, standard connectors and premium connectors. We'll talk about it once we talk about the licensing piece. Okay. Then we have Common Data Service, or in short, we call CDS, which is a backbone of Power Platform. It is a relational SQL database. It caters to first-party apps like Dynamics 365, CE, and other related apps as well. Or you can create custom apps on top of it as well. So CDS provides a schematic data model, which is data aware. So if you are storing anything which is related to personal information of a employee or customer or something, it is aware of that, what kind of data you are storing. It has got predefined entities and relationship, as you might be already knowing about it. Power Portal or Power Apps Portal is tightly coupled with CDS. So we will be talking about this more in detail going forward. But just to summarize this particular slide, an enterprise solution can use all these components together, okay? Or they can be used individually as well. So you need not buy the whole suite of Power Platform components in order to solve a particular business problem. You can only opt for Power Apps, or you can only go for Power Automate as well, or you can have a Power BI also implemented in your organization. You can forget about other components. But yes, in conjunction, if you want to utilize the full power of our platform, then definitely you will be needing all these components going forward. Okay, so let's talk about types of Power Apps. As I said earlier, Power Apps comes in 3 different flavors: Canvas app, model app, and then you have portals. So in portals, we'll be covering in detail, but just to give an overview of what exactly is a Canvas app, it's as the name suggests, it's a blank canvas. I mean, you can create a pixel perfect interactive applications. They are not bounded to any specific layout. They are free flowing in nature. As you can see in this sample as well, I mean, you can move around the components as you wish. It gives more flexibility to developers when it comes to customizing your layouts. Okay. Model driven app, on the other hand, they are tightly bounded to a model that can be your D365 CE apps, or it can be a custom data model residing in CDS as well. It has got its own layout. You can play around with some components, place components here and there, change their attribute settings and all that. But basic layout still remains the same. And a typical CRM look a model-driven app possesses. And it is dependent on CDS model behind the scenes. Portals are external-facing low-code way of developing websites, wherein Canvas and model-driven apps are, catering mostly to internal organization users. Portal can cater to internal as well as external users as well. So that is the added advantage that you get. And any questions so far? Sorry, am I going too fast or too slow? Let me know, please. Okay. So introduction to Power Apps Portal. So let's first talk about the history of portals. What was the need of portal, right? So Microsoft had that powerful customer management tool like Dynamics CRM, right? But they were not able to extend its capabilities to their partners, suppliers, or their external stakeholders as an organization. If I want to involve my suppliers and partners or external stakeholders, I had no option but to give them access to my Active Directory and then onboarded onto Dynamics CRM itself. So as a solution, they acquired ADX Portal, which worked in conjunction with Dynamics CRM to expose limited functionality to external users as well. So that was the perfect solution that they found out. But then again, being an acquired product, ADX has had its own challenges. So in came the Dynamics 365 portals, which was an improved version of ADX portal, so to say. But then Dynamics moved to Power Platform, and the birth of modern low-code portal. Now portals are tightly coupled with CDS, as I said earlier, and it gives an external users an opportunity to be part of organizations' business processes as well now, without getting into the Active Directory and all that mess. So Power Apps portals are more than what Dynamics 365 portal offered. So Dynamics 365 CE portals, work only with Dynamics apps. But then again, Power Apps portals, they can be installed on a blank CDS platform as well. They can make use of Power Apps. They can make use of Power Automate. They can have embedded Power BI components. So all these things are added advantage when it comes to Power Apps portals. Next session we will be demonstrating also such capabilities. What I'm talking about, how to embed, how to make sure that Power BI reports, dashboards are coming into Power Platform. So stay tuned for that. So it is important to understand that what kind of use cases portal is a fit for. Okay, I have listed down few scenarios which I found very interesting when it comes to portal. When I'm talking to my customer, they always ask like, what is this component good for? So these are some of the cases that I have listed. It is important to remember that portal are ideal for focused single purpose websites. Okay, so you have to have a single focus in mind when designing or when coming up a portal based solution. For example, a customer facing portal that enables self service on case management scenario, that can be a good fit for portals. Or you want to have employee self service portal, that scenario is a perfect fit for portal. You want to collaborate with multiple partners and you want a single platform wherein they can collaborate, so that can be a good fit. Or a event management website as well for marketing events, that also can be a good use case for portal implementation. Okay, and last but not the least, and most critical, is use cases that match portal template features. Now, what are these template that I'm talking about? So these are some of the out-of-box template which portals already ships with. So you can leverage this template in order to create a portal quickly. So as you can see, all these use cases are perfectly matching portal template features as well. If I just want to highlight this, case management, there are some overlapping features as well, like for example, case management, management call center, this template as well, and then community portal as well. But then again, you can customize and make your own portal as well. One clarification, as I was saying, using this portal doesn't mean you cannot include your own functionality. They just offer initial set of functionality, which can greatly reduce your time to market when it comes to portal. Okay. So we briefly touched upon what are the best case scenarios for portals. Now let's talk about some anti-use case patterns as well. So people tend to think that portals can replace Dynamics 365 CE. It is not designed to replace it. It is designed to extend its functionality to external and internal users. So that is a very key point that I would like to make on this particular slide. If we talk about case management, basic engine will still be with Dynamics. Portal will just expose functionality for case creation and tracking status. So your vendor suppliers, they can also create case on their own behalf by using a self-service ticketing tool, which can be a portal. They log in, they create their cases, submit it, and then they can track its status later on as well. They need not call your organization time and time again that what happened to my case or what happened to my query issues and all that. Another example is knowledge management. So again, dynamic CE will drive the knowledge management. It will hold all the data, but portal will only expose it to external users. So how it will help you as an organization? So you can expose a knowledge management articles or something similar to that to external world of FAQs kind of things. People can go and check out for themselves, get their answers. They need not call you or ping you separately just to get simple answers. Again, in my experience, my advice, if customer talks about replacing an old SharePoint site just because portal can perform content management services, just turn them down. I have seen people come up to me saying that, okay, I have a SharePoint site. I have heard that portal is good at managing content by itself. I would like to replace my SharePoint site. It is not meant for that. Okay. Another example, if customer says that, okay, we have been working with a design agency and we have come up with some kind of exciting mockups, can you implement that in portal? Again, just walk away from that kind of a scenario because it may require high degree of customization if you talk about portals. Okay, we don't want to get into such situation where we are, customizing almost 90% of the stuff that we see on portal by default. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. So we talked about some valid use cases, some invalid use cases for portal. Now let's see what portals can do for us. Okay. Uh, so now starting from the very beginning. Okay. So you have three different type of power apps that you can create. So one, I talked about Canvas app, I talked about model driven app, and I talked about portal as well, portal as an app. So while creating or while if you are trying to create, you just have to select the type, application type as portal, and then you are good to go. As far as D365 custom portal is concerned, you can quickly create that app. I mean, obviously, it will take its own sweet time to provision database behind the scenes, and I'll talk about what happens behind the scenes as well later on. But yes, it will take time, and then you will be presented with a new portal. Uh, so we spoke about templates. It can be a good starting point to start your portal journey. Templates like customer self-service, partner management, event management are there to be used, or you can go on and create your own custom portal as well. Citizen developers can use Portal Designer to configure or customize content through browser itself. They need not go into the details and all that. They can create and manage pages in just few clicks. Uh, Again, for pages also, there are predefined layouts that we can utilize in order to create new pages. Or as a pro developer, you can create your own custom templates and save it for later use as well. They are called web templates. So when I'm talking about the building blocks for portals, I'll touch base again on this point. Uh, One added advantage, and this is the huge one that we get with portals, is because it is tightly bounded with CDS and model-driven app. The constructs like forms, views, charts, dashboard can readily be used in portals as well without writing a single line of code. So capabilities like CAPTCHA, geolocation, custom workflows, custom actions are also available for portals to be used by pro developers. It supports multiple type of commercial logins as well. We have a separate session on this, but just to brief you about what kind of options it offers for a login purpose. So you can use your Microsoft account, you can use your LinkedIn account or your Facebook account as well, just to log into your portal. Or you can use Active Directory B2C enterprise identity providers as well. Self-service registration for end users is also possible. So they can land onto to a portal. If they are not having access, they can request, they can create, they can self-serve their registration process basically. And obviously, anonymous access for selected content is also possible if we talk about portals. I mean, it will help you create pixel perfect website. We talked about this. Uh, but then again, users can add their own CSS and inline style as well. If you are a pro developer, you can do that as well. There are themes also available to create responsive site, which works on multiple devices. So once you create a portal, it will not only work for your web interface, it will work for your mobile interfaces as well. So it is responsive in that sense. Portal also supports language variations like UK English, US English, French Canadian, and etc. One important thing I would like to highlight here is as well that all portal users are modeled as contacts in CDS database. Okay, this is an important point to remember. Uh, Portals are also able to integrate with other Microsoft products. So I already talked about this. Power BI components like reports or dashboards or tiles can be embedded, and SharePoint Azure Blob storage can be used as a document storage for portal. So if you are uploading or attaching documents via portal interface, they can also land into SharePoint or Azure Blob storage. It can also integrate with Azure Application Insights for users telemetry, and this is important for pro developers and administrators as well. Again, it's added cost, but then again, it can be really helpful for debugging and monitoring your portals. What else? What else? Okay. Oh yes. Pro dev capabilities. So it has an ability to access CDS data using liquid templating language as well. I mean, this is specifically for pro developers, and they can also create reusable web templates, as I already spoke about it. Again, Power Automate can also be triggered to extend any business logic. That is really helpful. And the portal offers some advanced admin options also, like IP filtering, IP address filtering, server side logs, portal checker tool is also available. So in my experience, I found that, okay, portal checker is really, really useful, and I cannot emphasize enough on using portal checker, which if I have to define it, I'll define it as a self-service diagnostic tool to identify common issues when it comes to portal development. So this is a free tool available with portal, and admins and pro devs should make use of this particular component. Okay. So some technical bits now. Architecture, again, I don't want to get into details of it, but then again, if I start with a new product, I start by understanding the architecture. Since portal is offered as software as a service, so we typically don't have to worry about how it is hosted on Azure. So yes, you heard it right. It is hosted on Azure. So whenever a provisioning of portal is done behind the scenes, two apps are being created. One is primary and one is secondary. All the traffic is routed towards primary web app by your traffic manager. Okay. Only when primary is down, traffic is automatically routed to secondary web app. It is important to understand that both web apps are kept in sync by a service bus component, so they are in sync always, and both web apps point to same CDS instance as well. So request comes in, goes to traffic manager, it gets routed to your primary web app, then it interacts with CDS to get the information. But if primary web app is down for some reason, it again, traffic manager will sense that and it will redirect your request to secondary web app. Okay, and this is a very oversimplified version of hosting that I've posted here. There can be more details to it, but I have refrained myself for putting more details to this particular slide. Okay, let's talk about some more authentication stuff. I don't want to get deeper into authentication because we have a dedicated session on that, but just wanted to give an overview how it works. So as soon as admin provisions and portal, web app gets registered in Active Directory. Now, portal communicates to Dynamics 365 as an Azure AD application. All interactions are done via D365 CE, web APIs and all that. So no direct access to Dynamics. It all goes through web APIs. Important things to notice here is portal accesses data in Dynamics as system user. Okay, but we still can find out which portal user, aka contact, created or updated the portal record. So we have that mechanism to check that out as well, or figure that out who actually is the creator or updater of this current record. Okay, even though portal connects as a system user to CDS. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
Okay, perfect. I'll move on then. Portal components, building blocks. I just wanted to give an overview of portal building blocks. I don't want to sound too technical, but yes, I have kept some definitions which are very simple to understand. And in other sessions, you'll get to see these component in action as well. So before we begin, let's be on the same page. Once we provision a portal, it installs a solution onto your CDS environment. So pro developers have an opportunity to access all these components that I'll be talking about via CDS interface as well. Citizen developers need not know all these components, but they can access some of these components using Portal Designer as well. Okay. So first thing first, as the name suggests, website is the root component. Once a portal is created, a new website entry will be created with a unique URL. So you can have multiple portal instances running on single CDS environment as well. All pages that are going to be created will be related to this website record. If I delete a website record, obviously your portal will be gone. Okay. Admin can configure multiple portals. I already talked about this, meaning multiple website records can be created. Okay. Second component that I would like to highlight is site settings. So it allows name value pair to be saved for code references later on. This particular feature is more targeted towards pro developers. This is required because we don't want to hard code anything on portal code, right? So we can save our custom settings in site settings as well. And things like external authentication, date time format, search setting can also be configured using site settings. Next I have is web link set. So web links are simple link pointing to another pages within same site. They can be grouped together to create a web link set as well. Web links will honor portal security if they point to another page in the same website. So for example, if you as a user don't want certain user to access a certain section of your website, and those links are links to those certain module which you don't want users to access is visible on your home page, then those links will automatically be not visible to the persons whom this particular module is not intended for. So it takes care of all that stuff as well. This is more for citizen developer. Web page, it represents a single page in portal, and it enables your content management as well. For pro developers, they can write their custom JavaScript, and they can embed sections like feedback, polls, ratings, and other components as well. So as you can see, every page is having its own unique URL, and this is how it can be structured or visualized in your mind. Okay, let's move on. Entity form. Entity form is mainly for citizen developers. If they want to expose a specific CDS entity form onto portal, they can quickly do so. Pro developers have an opportunity to write custom validations using custom JavaScripts as well onto these forms. Entity list I have next is used when you want to expose your CDS entity view onto your portal. Now, when I say I want to expose my view onto portal, I have a lot of other customization options as well as a citizen developer. So I can configure this particular view to ensure that all the records that I'm seeing are related to me itself or the logged in user. So those kind of auto filtering can also be configured. Again, if I talk about customization or configuration changes, you can change the column headers and the view name as well altogether if you want to do so. Web forms are interesting one. It sounds similar to entity form, but entity form is just to expose one single form to portal. But web forms can act, can expose multiple forms simultaneously in a given page. So for example, a wizard-like situation wherein you have steps and multiple forms associated in a single page, that is when you have to use web forms. Web files are, as the name suggests, they can be any resource that can be uploaded to portal. They can be of type CSS. They can be of type images as well. You can attach documents onto portal. So those are also considered as web files in portal terminology. Again, hosting can be done, it can be attached as a note and still it will be treated as a web file behind the scenes. Page template are used to show dynamic content by using liquid templates. We have a session on this. So the templates are of two type. One is you can reference to a custom ASPX portal, or you can use a web template which you created using liquid template. So both options will work. This option is typically used by pro developers, not by citizen developers. Last but not the least, I would like to talk about security. So two main components, security in portal are handled by these two. And just like Dynamics 365C, security is handled by a combination of web role, which are nothing but security roles, and entity permissions, which are privileges. So using a combination of these two, you can provide restrictive access to certain sections of your web pages or portal. I think that's all I had regarding components. Any questions so far? I am not able to see the chat, but yeah, we'll address those chat questions later on.
I think Pranav, you continue. Yeah, we are dealing with the chat questions.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Arpit.
No
Okay, so the last topic that I wanted to cover today is licensing, and this is a big one because there are a lot of confusion around this as well, as Raj already stated. So there are licenses which are entitled to use Power Apps, right? So since portal comes under Power Apps, people tend to think that if they can create Power Apps, they are entitled to use Power Portal as well. So for understanding purpose, I have classified Power Apps users in three different categories. So first, I'll be talking about Office 365 users, what they can do with portals. Then I'll be talking about Dynamics 365 users, okay, and what kind of access they have on portals. And then I'll be talking about Power App standalone users as well, what kind of access they get on portal. And then I'll be talking about some three different type of portal licensing as well. If you think about it, all three have one thing in common. They all can create Power Apps with varying capabilities. If I talk about O365, D365, and standalone Power Apps users. So let's get into it. O365 users, they are typically citizen developers who wants to improve productivity just by using Office tools or combination of Office tools. They are allowed only to use standard connectors, but they are not allowed to use premium connectors. They can create Power Apps in certain licensing scenarios, but they are not allowed to use portals at all. And that is what I've highlighted here in this little table. So in some scenarios, they can access or create custom Power Apps, but then again, model driven app, they don't have access to, and then portal, they don't have access to. What kind of O365 licenses support Power Apps, uh, Power Apps apps creation? So these are the licenses that are supported. So if you have E2, E3, or E5 licenses, you are still entitled to use Power Apps, but then again, portal won't be available. I was talking about some connectors, standard and premium. So standard connectors are readily available for O365 users. Again, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. You will have to check Microsoft website to get more details on what kind of standard connectors and premium connectors are available. But just I've listed down few of the connectors here. So basically, office related tools and simple productivity connectors, those are considered as standard connectors here. So Excel and RSS, Google Calendar and all that. And all those premium connectors like Azure related stuff and Pro Dev related stuff comes under premium connectors. Okay, so next set of users that I'll talk about is Dynamics 365 users. So now again, they are a bit different in nature. So D365 users are business users who know where their data is being stored. They are willing to go that extra mile to create an app for themselves to suit their requirements, right? And when I say D365 users, I'm covering CE and FNO both. Okay. Use of Power Apps capabilities is included with Dynamics 365 licenses, but only with enterprise licenses, not with normal app licenses. I have listed what type of app licenses are available in D365 umbrella and what are the enterprise licenses that can leverage Power Apps and portals as well. So normal app user, they cannot use not even Canvas app. They don't have access to portals. But if you are having an enterprise license, then a portal which is hosted in your environment, which you have access on, you should be able to access that. So that is the whole purpose of this slide. Please feel free to ask your questions or put it on chat as well. Okay, I don't have anything else to add. Okay, let's move on. Then we have a Power App standalone plan users, right? So once you opt for standalone Power App plan, you get access to full capabilities that includes both standard and premium connector. There's no distinction now if you go for Power App standalone plan. There are two types of plan available. One is per app plan. Second is per user plan. Per app plan means that under one business case, you are allowed to execute 2 custom apps and 1 portal. Okay, if you have per app plan. Per user plan allows you to run unlimited Power Apps, and hence you have access to unlimited Power App portals as well. So if you have hosted more than 1 portal on a particular environment, CDS environment, you'll be having access to all. So there's no limitation as such. But in case of per app plan, yes, you are allowed to access, but only 1 portal, which comes under that defined use case. Okay. Then let's talk about a Power Portal, which comes in 3 different flavors. Okay. Licensing wise, I'm talking about. So one is your external user, second is your anonymous user, third is your internal user. So what do you mean by external users? So typically they are partners who are part of your business process, right? So partner, dealer or supplier, they want to participate in your business process. They want to initiate a case. They want to initiate an insurance policy or something of that sort. Or they want to access, if I have to speak from a FNO perspective, uh, uh, product list they want to access, product catalog they want to access. All these type of users who want to have access to your Dynamics data, they are typically logging in onto your portal, and then they are performing their business processes. As I said, case creation could be a option. Vendor management can be another option wherein you can utilize this external type of users. Now the question is how they are being identified as external. So this is important to understand. They are identified as external users because they are not using Active Directory login option. They might be using Azure Active Directory B2C, in which case they are logging in as guest, or perhaps using any third-party authentication mechanism as well, like Facebook or LinkedIn or etc. So if they are not using your current Active Directory where portal is hosted on, all other type of users are considered as external if they are trying to log in. One unit is restricted to 100 logins per month. So if you need 300 logins per month, you should buy three units of portal licenses for external login. Now the question comes in: what is a login? What do you mean by login? So login means authenticating external user, which for which the validity is 24 hours. So within 24 hours, even if that user logs in multiple times, only one login will be counted. So this is important to notice. So once you log in, your login will be valid for 24 users, and you can log in multiple times within that time frame. Anonymous users. Anonymous users are typically read-only users. A classic case can be your knowledge management or FAQs site that you want to float for external users who can just quickly browse through your FAQs, get their desired answers. This particular type of licensing is charged as per user view count. Okay, per page view count. Sorry. The unit is 100,000 page views per month. But if you need, let's say, for example, 300,000 per view per month, then you might have to buy 3 units, or just to be on a safer side, 4 units of this particular license. Last category is your internal users. So they are typically D365 portal users, or they might be having a Power App standalone plan as well. So they can also access portals. Uh, Scenarios like employee self-service is the best example for internal type of users. They are identified as internal users because they log in using your Active Directory account. One thing to highlight: if a particular internal user decides to use his or her personal ID or LinkedIn ID to log into your portal, then it will be counted as an external authenticated login, not as an internal user. So internal users have no restrictions on how many logins that they can have or how many pages they can view per month. But then again, if they are not logging in as internal users, or they are not announcing themselves as internal users, then obviously they will fall under either anonymous user category or this external user authenticated user category. Okay, so that's all I had. Uh, so we are a bit early on time. So queries, I'm sure Arpit said you're handling it, Arpit.
Yes, Pranav.
Let's see.
Thank you for the wonderful session, Pranav.
Just
You
a
have
second. I just wanted to show how a citizen developer can quickly, change few settings here and there, add few pages. I don't have a full-fledged demo, but just to give them a flavor. So this is a typical uh, portal editor application I have opened here. You have an option to add different pages to it just by few clicks. You can add new pages. You can select from predefined layouts as well. You have uh, a component bar here as well. You have pages that are stacked together. You can see the whole hierarchy here as well. And then you can have templates and you have themes as well. In a page, you can just quickly click anywhere and try and modify the content. It will be allowed. You have an opportunity to change font colors and everything else. So whatever you selected here in the middle section, related attributes or related properties will appear on the right side. So you have an option to change it very quickly. So it is as simple as doing this. So again, as I said, just to complete the whole circle, we talked about portal use cases, some anti-use cases. Then we talked about what kind of things or what kind of capabilities Power Apps offers when it comes to responsive app, when it comes to low code, no code, when it comes to pro dev capabilities. We talked about certain building blocks of portal, and then we touched upon the licensing piece as well. And then I am concluding just by showing you how a particular designer works. This by no means is a full-fledged demo. Full-fledged demo will be coming in next session, but I just wanted to give you a sneak preview on what is coming up next. So over to you, Arpit, Raj. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav, for covering all the basics of Power Apps portal. I think we had a lot of queries regarding that where the portal actually fits in the real world scenario, and there were a lot of questions related to the licensing model. So we are actually quickly going through the chat where we have a couple of questions related to the licensing model. So if you can just quickly reply on the chat, so it will be great.
I will do that certainly. I'll have to go through them. I'll reply for sure.
So we have a
I
question.
can,
I think
yeah.
there is one question where people are confusing between the Power Apps and the Power Apps portal. So the Power Apps portal is basically the type of Power Apps as Pranav demonstrated. So there are basically three types of Power Apps available. One is model driven, second is Canvas app, and third one is the portal, right? For Power Apps portal. But the model driven app and the Canvas app cannot be exposed to the external user. They are meant for the internal users only. And the Power Apps portal is the only product provided by the Microsoft that is being exposed to the external users. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the Power Apps and the Power Apps portal. Though a Power Apps portal has been built using the Power Apps only, but it is being exposed to the external users. And we have some questions related to the UI responsiveness. So I think uh, as far as you are using the out of box features or the out of box bootstrap and doing the minimal customization on the portal, then I think portal will respond you in a better way. But if you are highly customizing your portal and you are making a lot of UI changes, you are using your own custom CSS, then you have to make sure like you are not using any DOM element, you are not creating any dynamic HTML element in your liquid template code or in your JavaScript. And if you still want to make your custom code or the custom CSS responsive, then you have to check the media queries. So the media queries is the best a way using which you can simply make your a portal page responsive for the for the mobile and the tablets. Okay, so just have a look and read about the media queries, so that is supported on the portal.
Yeah, Arpit, I can see a lot of questions, but I'm not able to reply to them somehow because I'm using Teams from my browser.
Okay, okay.
Hi there. So there is a question. So I think let's just read through the questions. There are lots of questions. I think David Ole is asking if you could just go through the three licensing again, please. He's still a bit confused.
Okay. So three different type of licensing means three different flavors. One is your external user. So, okay, let's think about this way. So you have external users and then you have internal users. So we know internal users are belonging to our Active Directory. We have our own employees logging into onto that portal. For external employees or external users who want to access portal, we have two different options. One is users who just want to read certain information from your portal. They are not logging in as such, or they are not participating in your larger business process. They can be turned as anonymous users. And then people who wants to participate, like your partner, dealer, or supplier, they will have to log into portal in order to create records or interact with portal in a meaningful way. Then those external users needs to be authenticated, and that is the first plan that talks about external user authenticated. Second plan talks about anonymous users, and third plan talks about the internal users. Again, for each of them, there are certain criteria that we need to manage. So, for example, external user, if they are authenticated, then there they can be there has to be a limit for one unit. 100 logins per month are allowed. Login means that for 24 hours, that particular login will be valid, even if you know access access your portal multiple times within that time frame. You will only be counted as a one login for that particular month. So these guys need to be very sure of what kind of authentication mechanism they're trying to get into, and then how many logins they want to consume per month. So for example, if you know for sure that you have dealer network spread across United States, and then you want to give them access to your portal, and you know that 1,000 dealers will logins will be required per month in order for you to fulfill your business requirements. In that case, at least 10 to 11 units of external user authenticated licenses needs to be bought. For anonymous users, there's no login required, because they typically come to your website just to read the information. Okay. And for them, if they are viewing pages, then one unit will be corresponding to 100,000 pages views per month. If you know that you have a large user base, then accordingly you'll have to buy the units. For internal users, again, they're very simple to identify, in a sense that enterprise users will be using Active Directory account in order to log in. They already have a license assigned to them. Either they are coming from a D365 family of licenses, or they have a Power App plan as well. So if they have either of them, they should be allowed to use the portal. So in that sense, there's no restriction as such in terms of how many views they want to have on the portal, or how many login they want to perform on the portal. Does that answer your question, David?
So one more question is, if I choose external user license, so this question is from David. If I choose external user license and
yeah, kind of. I just
yeah, go ahead, please. David, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
yeah, no, I think it kind of did answer it. The other part I just want to confirm is if you so what are you saying with the external users? If you log yeah, so if you log out 100 times before the next month, that means you will not be able to log in. You have to wait till the cycle begins for you to be able to log in as an external user. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. Yes.
That is correct actually. If if your quota gets get exceeded before the time limit, right? So the user won't be able to log in on the portal, and they will get the issue like you do not have sufficient
Okay.
license assigned in order to log in on the portal. Yeah.
And one more point I would like to add here is if you have a surplus of logins left for a particular month, it won't be carry forward to the next month. So whatever logins you have for month, it will get expired within that month time frame only. So no carry forwards are allowed.
Perfect. And related to the licensing, I just wanted to add one more thing, Pranav. How the Microsoft actually identifies that whether the user, being logged in on the portal is internal user or the external user. So it actually depends on the credential that you are logging on the portal. So if you are logging on the portal with the home Active Directory where the portal is being installed, then it is considered as the internal user login. So it will not count as a licensed user. Okay, but if the user, for example, if I am the internal user and I have the Active Directory account, I'm as a member of the Active Directory account, and the same Active Directory account I have installed the portal. So I'll be considered as a licensed. I'll not be considered as a licensed user. So I should not be charged for it. Okay, but I am the internal user, but I am using some external authentication on the portal. For example, I am the internal user, but I'm using Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, external account in order to log in on the portal. Then I will be charging for the portal. So this is the thing that we have to make sure that how the user is logging onto the portal.
Yeah, Arpit, if it will be really helpful if you read out the questions to me, I can answer some of them.
Yes, Pranav. Yes, Pranav. Sure. So there is one more question from Doher, like where can we track like the number of views for a specific month? Can we set up notification when we are almost near our limit? Actually, it's like
I
capacity based question. If my capacity of my tenant is getting exceeded related to the portal or related to the Dynamic 365, do we have something through which we can get the notification?
I don't really know, Arpit, to be honest, if we can set any notifications whenever we are nearing our limit. I don't know. If you have a better answer, please feel free to chime in.
I also didn't find such a way that Microsoft notify us because as per my earlier experience, I started getting SQL timeout issue, and I think I get the issue related to the SQL server usually when my capacity get exceeded. So I think it's a really good question. I think we need to find the answer of this question. Is there any way where we can automate the notification problem?
True.
What exactly the difference between the Dynamic 365 and the Power Apps portal? So this is the question from Prashant from the licensing perspective.
I believe all the D365 portals are now being upgraded to Power Portal, so there's no specific licensing left for them. Whatever is there is all related to Power Apps portal only now.
Yeah. So Prashant, to add in the Pranav answer, like Dynamic 365 portal is now considered as the add-on portal, and the Power Apps portal is now considered as a Power Apps portal. So whenever you, for example, in your instance, your existing portal is installed. For example, any Dynamic 365 community portal is installed. So you will find that the type of that portal will be appended with the add-on. So when you will open the portal, you will find the type of the portal as an add-on. But when you open the Power Apps portal, you will not find that option add-on. So all the add-on portal will have the options to convert the licensing into the Power Apps portal based licensing. So you get the notification on top of the admin page of the portal where you can convert your Dynamic 365 license or the add-on based license to the capacity based license. So this is the basic difference between the Dynamic 365 add-on based license and the capacity based license. Hope it answer your questions, Prashant. One more question I think we can take up it, what technology we should be aware for portal development. So do you want to answer this question, Pranav?
Um, so for example, if you are a pro developer, you can think of using liquid template. That is something which you need to know if you want to customize your portal or pull certain custom information onto it. That is what I can think of. Most of the things are still low code, no code. So you need not worry about if you just want to configure or customize portal in that way. But I don't think so. I mean, definitely you'll have to learn Power App components. That includes your Power Apps and how to use Power Automate. You need to learn probably Power BI as well, because you will like to embed those dashboards and tiles onto your portal. So Liquid Template and Power Platform is something which I will recommend to begin with. And then obviously there are a lot of other things that you can explore.
Okay, perfect. Is it possible to embed Canvas app? So I think yes, you can embed the
Yeah,
Canvas
absolutely.
app in the Power Apps portal, but you just need to make sure that you are logging on the portal with the Azure AD credential. If you are using any external authentication or the local authentication, you will not be able to access that Canvas app. So you just need to make sure that you are logging on the portal with the internal user credential, your Azure AD credential. All right, so I think we have a lot of questions related to the Power Apps fundamentals. So I think we can keep posting on the chat. So I think thanks a lot, Pranav. You covered a great session actually. There are a lot of questions related to the licensing. I think a lot of people got the answer of all the questions related to the licensing and the basic fundamentals of the portal. So we will keep posting the answer on the chat. Meanwhile, I will again thank you so much for your time and presenting the best session for the
Yeah.
beginners. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Arpit, for organizing this, and thanks all for attending this session. I think it was really good experience for me as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Bye bye. So